Thank you. Thank you so much. Danke schön. Faleminderit shumë. Your Serene Highness, Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors, members of the Richard Coudenhove-Kalergi Pan-European Foundation, honored guests, friends and colleagues, dear MEP Mandel, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for the kind words. And thank you to all of you. Thank you to the members of the Austrian Parliament for joining us. In 1992, long before he actually received this same award, the Kalergi Pan-European Foundation Award, in this very same room again, the founding father of our republic and the architect of our independence, President Ibrahim Rugova, spoke in front of the large audience about Kosovo and about the human rights violations that we were all going through under Milosevic. But he also spoke about the hopes of the people of Kosovo to live in freedom, to live in independence, and to live in democracy. Freedom and peace in Kosovo, as well as in the wider region, he argued, were the cornerstone of a peaceful and free Europe. He also warned at that time, in 1992, about the appeasement that many were offering to dictator Milosevic. But as it was proven then, and as it is proven now, again and again, appeasement of dictators never, ever leads to long-lasting peace. At that very difficult time for us, in the 90s, our people found an early supporter in Austria. Among organizations such as Paneuropean, among human rights activists, among media, journalists, as well as among politicians. One of the strongest early supporters was undoubtedly Otto von Habsburg, becoming a strong voice not just within the Pan-Europa movement and the European Parliament, but also well beyond, as you rightly pointed out, such a strong believer in our people and in our president. Later on, this strong support continued through the visionary leadership of politicians such as Alois Mock, Albert Rohan, and so many others, just to name a few. No wonder Vienna was then and still known as not just the capital of Austria, but more than that, the capital of Southeast Europe. For us, it was not just the center of Southeast Europe, it was the place where we found a voice. At that time, politicians from all political spectrums, as well as civil society and media here in Austria, became steadfast supporters of Kosovo and our right to be free and sovereign, as well as our people's right to self-determination and fundamental freedoms and human rights. Austria became the first country to recognize diplomas from Kosovo students issued by the parallel system built by President Rugova in defiance of Milosevic. And Austria did that in order to allow our young people to pursue their education in Austria, but this was so much more than just a symbolic move or gesture. This was aimed at supporting our fundamental human right to education and also served as a cornerstone to a capacity building process within our institutions from which we benefit even today. This support from Austria in our hour of need became the bedrock of excellent relations between Kosovo and Austria, which continue to thrive also today. When I first stepped into politics, I was really young. As it was mentioned by Lucas, it's already more than 25 years. Perhaps when I first started, I was way too young to fully grasp the weight of the path ahead. but I believe old enough to understand that if I wanted to serve my country and my people, there were two sure ways to do it. One was through education, and the other was through the hard, often imperfect work of politics. I learned some of the most valuable lessons, not really from textbooks or from lectures, but from the quiet strength of my parents and the stories passed down about my grandparents, which were stories of hardship, stories of them being oppressed like all the people of Kosovo, and most importantly, stories of resilience and dignity, and the unshakable belief in the power of freedom. Even as a child, I understood that in Kosovo, freedom was an ideal fiercely and long fought for, and deeply sacred. When you grow up as a child under oppression, and when you live beneath the shadow of an apartheid-like regime, and then go through a genocidal war, your dreams begin to narrow. You stop dreaming what might be the dreams of your peers in other countries. And in fact, you dream of something much simpler, but so much more profound, which is the right to live and be free, the right to human dignity, and the right to shape your own future. Fast forward to today, those dreams have become the building blocks of the independent, free, and sovereign Republic of Kosovo, which is young, but very determined. A republic that was tested, however, is very courageous. A country that is still healing from the scars of a genocidal war, but proudly contributing shoulder to shoulder with our friends and partners, contributing to peace, security, and cooperation across borders, and wherever and whenever needed. A country that believes in Europe more than anyone else you can find in this continent, because the values that shape Europe were the ones that gave us hope when darkness seemed overwhelming. Now, the Pan-European Union, founded by the visionary Richard von Coudenhove-Kalergi more than 100 years ago, was created with a bold idea: to lay the groundwork for a peaceful, democratic, and integrated Europe. One that could help the continent move forward after the devastation of the First World War. The example of the Pan-European Union is a demonstration that no matter where you sit in the world, people are united by the shared ideals of a better, more prosperous, and more peaceful future. This movement embraced Kosovo and its people when very few around the world did, when it mattered most, in fact, helping us have access to a platform through which our stories, our voices, and our experiences would be shared with the world. And those who gave us a voice when we didn't have one are the friends that we will never forget, never ever. Aware of the impactful work this organization has done over the past century and the support it has given to my country, especially in our most difficult times, it is with deep gratitude and profound humility that I accept the Coudenhove-Kalergi Prize for Europe today. As I see it, this award carries a powerful legacy, one that affirms that peace, democracy, and unity across Europe are not simply ideals to aspire to, but responsibilities we must all embrace. And I have often said that receiving an award as a president is never just a tribute to the individual. It is first and foremost a recognition of the achievements of the people that I represent and the country that I represent. I stand here because of the resilient people of Kosovo. I stand here because the people of Kosovo have believed in the ideals of freedom, democracy, and human rights for as long as history remembers. But most importantly, I stand here in tribute to the suffering and pain that my people have endured. I'm here to remind the world of the story of Nana Ferdonije, whose husband and 4 sons were forcibly taken by Milosevic's forces. It has now been more than a quarter of a century since then, and Nana Ferdonije still hopes for their return. Despite this unimaginable pain, she and the mothers of thousands who still remain forcibly disappeared from the war, has dedicated her life to a tireless call for truth and justice. I also stand here in solidarity with more than 20,000 survivors of sexual violence during the last war in Kosovo. I stand here because of and in support of Vasfia Krasniqi, Shureta Tahiri, Ramadan Nishori, and countless other courageous survivors who speak not only for themselves, but for countless others silenced for way too long. Their voices today have become the voices of survivors across the world. And I also stand here particularly for the thousands of children of Kosovo who were my age and much younger during the war, but whose lives were cut short by war, and whose memory compels us to build peace so that our past never becomes their future, so that they never, ever have to go through what we had to go through. So today, I'm honored to join you all together with my wonderful family, together with our staff, our embassy, and friends from Kosovo, from our diaspora, but also from so many others who showed to the world, against all odds, what is a testament to what democracies can achieve when they stand together in defense of the values of freedom and human rights, but also a testament that nothing can stand on the way of a people who wants to be free. Nothing. So I really most humbly receive this award on behalf of all the citizens of Kosovo, a nation that has endured centuries of hardship, but never surrendered their dreams of a democratic and European future. This award is not just a personal honor, it is rather a recognition of our collective journey, a journey shaped by a long struggle for democracy, the fight for human rights, and the unyielding belief in the rule of law. It is also a reminder of the delicate path we continue to work forward, a path where our values are tested by new threats, where our achievements are challenged every single day, and our progress too often is targeted by malign forces. But even in the face of these challenges, we do not bend, because we know where we come from, we know what we stand for, and we absolutely know where we are going. Kosovo never had a second doubt. Kosovo never flirted with other forces. Kosovo knows that there's only one path, and that is the European Union, where we truly belong. We stand firm because our beliefs are firm. We are the strongest believers in a Europe that is whole, free, and at peace. Kosovo is a country born of the will of its people and carried forward by the unmatched hope of generations who dared to believe in freedom and peace at a time when it cost them with their lives. We are guided by the ideals of Europe, and we are anchored in the belief that our rightful place is within the European Union, as well as a full and equal member of the Euro-Atlantic family. Coming back to 2 decades ago, when President Rugova, our founding father, stood before this very foundation, honored for the same values that we celebrate today, receiving this exact same honor and prize, I must say that to walk in his footsteps is a privilege second to none. To continue his legacy, for me, is more than just a responsibility. It is a mission. It's a lifetime mission, because his vision and mission for an independent, sovereign, democratic Kosovo, fully integrated within the European Union and NATO, and with a special relationship with the United States, guides us to this day. It is a vision deeply entrenched into the hearts and minds of the people of Kosovo, 97% of whom, 97% believe in Europe and support the European integration of our country. And I work every day to deliver on that responsibility and to carry out this mission, not only as a president, but also as a citizen of a country that owes its very existence to that pursuit of democracy and to that promise of peace, to the pursuit of ideals that have served as the bedrock of the European continent. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that this moment is taking place in Austria is not just symbolic, but it's profoundly personal to all of us. Austria stood with Kosovo in our darkest hours. When we needed friendship, Austria was there for us. When we needed support, Austria offered its hand. This nation and its people reminded us that even in times of struggle, humanity can shine through. So to be honored here in this land, for us is more than just a ceremony. It is a testament to the bonds we share that go back centuries. It is a testament to the values we defend and to the future we are building and aspiring together, to the Europe of the future. The dream of a better Europe is not just abstract to us, it is very much alive. It is not distant, it's our daily ambition. A Europe whole, free, and at peace is the strongest aspiration that keeps us together. But let us be clear, that dream is incomplete without Kosovo, the youngest Europeans. I'm truly convinced that Kosovo and the European Union is not just a goal of ours. It is also Europe's opportunity, an opportunity to finish what it started, to unite what malign politics tried to divide then and what they are trying to divide now, and to embrace every nation that believes in the promise of democracy and in the power of peace. Kosovo in the European Union is a chance for Europe to prove once more that its strength lies in its unity and its purpose lies in its ideals. A Kosovo in the European Union is a win for Europe. A European Union with members that truly believe in it, fight for it, and for the principles in which it stands. Exactly in this soil, in this continent, is where democracy was born. The European soil has witnessed revolutions, renaissances, and renewals. This soil has known tragedy, but always triumphed over it. This soil is witnessing a tragedy now, but freedom and peace will triumph over and over again. As Ukraine stands bravely in defense of its freedom, Europe finds itself at crossroads, facing one of the most consequential moments in modern history. What we do now in this chapter will shape the direction of our shared future for generations to come. Therefore, this is not time to retreat, but rather a time to reach across borders, to forge new partnerships and alliances and strengthen existing ones, and to let solidarity thrive. And at a time when autocracy knocks on democracy's door, these ambitions and principles are more important than ever. The world is watching. Our children are watching. And one day, future generations will look back and they'll ask, what did we do when it matters most? And this is what keeps me going. Because I want to be able to look at my daughters and all of the children of Kosovo in their eyes when they're grown and tell them that I did my best when it mattered most. That we didn't take democracy for granted, but we fought for it day in and day out. And when the path was hardest, we didn't falter. That's exactly when we stood the tallest, and that's exactly when we fought the hardest. We never gave up on believing in democracy, in peace, in prosperity, because we know what happens when those values are abandoned. We've seen what the absence of these values can bring. We've lived through the opposite of freedom and democracy. And so we pressed on with strength, with purpose, and with the unshakable belief that we could build something better. Because more than anything, I want to leave behind a better Kosovo, one that thrives, that succeeds, that shows the world what is possible when a nation is given the chance to be free. The values that we celebrate today are the values that have shaped our humanity's greatest successes. So I really do hope that these values will guide us in ensuring that the world we leave behind is one of dignity, of peace, and enduring hope for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, and dear friends, in conclusion, I want to say that Europe is a living responsibility, one that demands courage, not just from the big and the powerful, but from every nation that has dared to defend peace when it was easier to surrender, and to speak truth when silence was safer. In the soul of Europe, it is often the smallest of nations that carry the greatest of truths, that freedom is earned, that democracy must be nurtured, and just peace must never be compromised. Ours must be the generation that restores the moral compass of Europe, where unity is not built by just some economic interests, but by conviction. And in that vision, we do not ask for Europe to just open its doors. We ask for Europe to recognize that we have been contributing to its foundations for centuries, step by step, with every act of justice, with every act of sacrifice, and most importantly, with every act of hope. Because Europe is not a distant dream. It is who we are. We are Europe. Thank you very much. Thank you.